to talk about environmental impacts and what you might want to see in terms of environmental impacts. So if you didn't sign the sheet as you were coming in, please make sure that we have your contact information so that you can be included in future conversations. So the reason that I was brought up here was to talk a little bit about what happened in Nashville. So many of you all have heard that Nashville is a major league soccer town now. Yay. Who goes to soccer games? We were excited to have Major League Soccer, just like we've had Major League NFL football. We may have a baseball team. But the one thing that we were able to ensure with the soccer stadium was that the jobs that were created as a result of the soccer stadium now pay $18.50 at a minimum. That they built housing around the soccer stadium. And so we made sure that many of those units were affordable, deeply affordable, because that's a challenge in our community, right? Some of the units were 2 and 3 bedroom. You can't put affordable housing and put up a bunch of 1-bedroom units and think that anybody with a family can live in those units. So now they're building units that have 2 and 3 bedrooms that can accommodate families. They ensured that minority business participation was a part of what they were doing with the soccer stadium. They even are bringing soccer into communities that don't have the resources. You know, it's expensive to have our kids in some of these athletics, right? So we negotiated as a part of a community benefits agreement. What did I say? Community. So a community benefits agreement is an agreement between the community and the developers that includes some of the things that the community wants to see, right? And developers, they want to do right by the community too, or at least we will assume they're good intent, right? But if they don't know and they just build according to what is the most profitable, then sometimes we won't get what we need. So this is about just organizing. We have a lot of things up on the board that we'll ask you to look at and kind of rate. I was told earlier that you all have gone through similar processes around what it is that you want to see. But what we want to do is compile that list, compare it with what other organizations are doing this work, and make sure that at the end of the day, it is representative of what you want for your community. So I'm not sure, Will, who's. Oh, worker from UAW. I'm sorry, brother, I didn't catch your name. Thank you for being here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Thomas. I'm from local 2406 UAW, work for GM out of Memphis. And I want to thank you for letting me be here. I don't take the task lightly. I want to pay homage to AFL-CIO, Tennessee for All, the committee that got this together, my UAW leadership organization team, and past members of the administration. Today, I'm just coming fresh off the picket line, so ignore the cards. I had to get it done how I could. But it's an honor to be here to talk to you because, as most of you, I know GM is in a 6-week strike at this point, and I believe we're making a turn on things. But it's vital that we do our part, like talk to the community about what's going on, about the changes that you guys are going to incur. I was just thinking about the fact of what Ford is bringing to the table, which you guys, once y'all get in the building, it probably become your agreement, become some of the things that you'll experience, and they're they're reaching a 25% pay increase. COLA, transition period is smaller, and all these things are done based on the needs of the people, of the membership coming out, speaking their mind and going over ideas like we're doing here today for the betterment of our environment and our community. I'm a community guy. I grew up with a family that did a community business, and we transformed and reflected the community with the people that we work with, that we employed. So I take it personal. And when I got on staff, it was in the middle of a transition with the union, transitioning the economy, similar to what we're going through today. But once you step up and recognize what's going on and let your voice be heard, you can be on the forefront of these changes. And I believe if any of you are going to work for Ford, you're in a blessed position, because you're going to have a new agreement. You're going to have a new facility where when you go in, you'll know what you need, know what you want, and know what you have. A lot of people join companies 3 or 4 years in, and it takes years to understand the contract. You guys have a fresh new one, a matter of fact, a historic contract that you can gain from and build upon in the next 4 years. At this point, we're on strike, and solidarity has proven itself. We've had a rally Sunday with the AFL-CIO and another union that's been on strike for 5 months in Memphis. So we built strength and unity with them, and hopefully with that rally and that support, they'll get increased focus on their needs and maybe wrap up their contract. But this is what it's about, the community. I look at the news, and I like to look at both sides of the coin. I know that Ford is the biggest thing happening here in this city. But just yesterday, I believe they said they lost 12 billion. So they're going to slow down EV factories in other areas. So I consider you guys blessed that you guys are still up and going, but there's always two sides to a coin. They say they lost 12 billion, but they gave the area 11 million, right? So if they're taking away from other people and their jobs and saving money there, and they got 11 billion, now they lost a billion, and they have factories that push out $1 billion a day, who really lost in that situation? That would be the people that were going to be employed, which have slowed their hiring process because of the strike. But the strike is beneficial for the working man. The strike is proven to be successful. And like I said, you guys are in a real good spot just to know the language, to know what you're going to go into, know what you might want to gain in the future. And again, like Mr. Bradshaw said, elect good leaders, because as you can see in this area, they want to make it blue oval city instead of a union town, right? So if you elect pro-union leaders and elect good officials inside the building that have your best interests at heart, and not just, in position just to see what's going on, but want to really affect the community and reflect the community, this is your time. I'm happy for you guys. I bring you greetings from Tim Smith, the director of this region, Assistant Director George Palmer. You got a good crew on your hands, and like I said, this is your moment, as well as the UAW, well as the working class. The economy, inflation, all these bad things are happening, but the labor movement is still moving forward and making historic gains. This will be a union town, because once you guys reap the benefits of a union contract and agreement, neighboring partners and facilities will be affected, and their pay might go up. Your friends and family may get employment. In the Memphis area, we're growing rapidly because of the EV and just the gains of the union and solidarity and the union mindedness of the people of the community. But again, like I said, I'm proud to be here with you guys. And I pray for you guys, and I hope that you understand the power is with the people, and you are the people, and we are the people. God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We definitely must be the people getting all these presidents in this room, right? And so, next up, as we alluded to, we've been in the community. You all may or may not know, we've held 2 town halls in the space that you're sitting in right now. Obviously, we met Michael before this. We have other committee members and other individuals who have been partaking and participating. And so, the next thing is for you to partake and participate. So we got Michael, face right here right now. And Michael's going to actually go through some of those demands with you. And we're going to have like an activity. We'll have breakout groups because obviously, what's a good meeting without the people actually getting the opportunity to talk to us, right? All right. So thank you so much once again for sitting tight. I'm so glad we got some chairs in here. And here you are, Michael.
Hello, everyone. So as I alluded to earlier, these demands have been sort of in development since July now. The committee has talked to as many experts as we possibly can to make sure that these demands cover as much as possible and are as effective as possible for the community. Because at the end of the day, this is a contract, it is a negotiation. So we want to make sure everything is covered and that, there's no slip ups, no loose ends, that type of thing. So to start, we have our environmental demands. So first off, we have demanded that they have EV charging stations, power grid, and utilities infrastructure fund, so that all of that can be covered as they sort of build and grow the community. Allocation for independent environmental impact auditor to assess impact to local land, water, and air pathways affecting local ecology and health of residents and employees, so that our environment doesn't get destroyed through the actual building of the factory and that type of thing. Utility subrogation fund to assist local residents with rise in utility costs due to alterations to local power grid. Allocation to retrofit, upgrade, and reinforce power grid to support new demand of EV charging stations. Toxic waste exposure fund and transport management plan. Allocation for toxic spills/accidents, which include medical care to affected community members and compensation for injuries and lives lost. Allocation for water and land treatment programs to clean up areas affected by toxic incidents or exposure. Local first responder training, i.e. fire department training, for if there's ever a problem with the plant or with any batteries that may be being disposed of. There needs to be an oversight committee that meets monthly, and a TVA rep will have meetings regularly with the engineers working on the plant. Need a public step-by-step plan that mandates a proposal plan ahead of time in case of disposal is needed. Explosions happen, hazardous oil spills, etc., and battery recycling and disposal. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm young. I got a fast brain. My bad. Thank you. My voice is going to explode. Score. Yeah, so as sort of alluded to, these are bullet points for now, but we're talking with hopefully legal representatives and things of that nature to make sure this stuff is legally binding. And like I said, everything's covered ahead of time. So that's one of the things we have sort of also sort of in the works / more in the details of it and that type of thing. And we'll have time to talk about more of this stuff too in a second when we do the breakouts and stuff like that. So you can actually like ask more in-depth questions and stuff like that and proposals and stuff like that. But yes, that is in the works and something we have been sort of talking to and preparing for.
So they are required, right, by EPA to do one, but I think there's a reality that, a lot of plants and things have requirements in order of, the needs and of the environment that they're supposed to do. And we've seen that be short-sighted. And so, what we're talking about here is an additional one that, the community can hold forward accountable to. But like Michael was saying, we will have, more discussion of this in the breakout groups. You'll all have, your own facilitators you can talk to, ask these questions to. Right now, we just want to list them out so that way we can have those conversations.
All right, transitioning to talking more about housing. Some of the demands we have for housing. I'll wait for the slide to switch. It's on the next. Thank you. Housing, so a resident displacement fund for all those displaced by the building of the factory and the purchasing of their land, that type of thing. Allocation for legal fees of displaced owners and residents. So if you need a lawyer, Ford should give you the money to pay for that lawyer, basically. A relocation stipend for people who need to buy new homes or rent and that type of thing. Mhm. 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 Yeah, and that's why we're working hopefully so that people can access lawyers and stuff so you can fight them legally to keep the land that you have. And yeah.
Yep. So that's one of the things that we are going to try to make sure that the change positively impacts our community long term. I'm not talking about today. There are going to be some inconveniences. Has anybody ever remodeled their house? Well, I got that right now, but have you ever remodeled your house and you had sawdust everywhere? It's a difficult process. It's a difficult process that causes sometimes temporary inconveniences. What we are trying to do with this meeting is to make sure that the Blue Oval City is a city that people want to come, that it is a diverse city, that it is one that our children and our children's children will be able to earn a good living and have a good quality of life. Well, even that can be temporary, brother. Even that can be temporary. So go ahead and finish the.
Yeah. And then the next thing we had was affordable housing allocation. So that's similar to what was mentioned earlier with the stadium up in Nashville where they had housing built around it and that type of thing. Conservation, protection, and preservation of local water resources and water rights of indigenous landowners and residents. So there's a lot of clean water around here. We don't want that getting polluted over time because of the plant coming in, that type of thing. And then finally, require Ford to give money to local cities like Stanton, Brownsville, Mason, et cetera, for local government to set aside to give to developers setting up a grant program, but being more localized and more focused. So local businesses, that type of thing. Continuing on, education and workforce development. So a joint initiative to grow next generation of factory leadership through funding HTL University program, in addition to offering training pathways within the company for employees. Pre-apprenticeship programs to prepare local workers. Scholarships for descendants of longtime residents. So that way people who've lived here can grow up and work at the factory and work some of the higher paid positions to sort of keep the money local. Minimum hiring requirements of local workforce at each level of the plant. Public transportation, so money for public transportation. Affordable public transportation system for surrounding counties. This could be a shuttle or funding for local governments to build and maintain. Recreational facilities for local youth, plant safety, ensuring training programs to teach transferable skills and give opportunities for leadership, education and training for Black farmers on ways to be able to maintain and develop their crop and during this period of transition. And finally, entrepreneurial development opportunities.
Thank you, Michael. Absolutely wonderful job, Michael. Appreciate you as always, every step of the way being here with us. All right, so next slide, please. Next up, we got our breakout groups. I know we've all been excited to talk. I know we all have issues that are affecting us, and we want to hear from you. We need to know what those issues are so that way we can build a community benefits agreement that reflects the community, right? So you all are a part of this process, and we are so happy to have you here. So next slide, please. These are the questions that we will be discussing. So we have three main buckets, as you see: an environmental bucket, workforce development bucket, and we also have a housing bucket. So we will have our housing bucket, folks who are interested in discussing housing, and that as being one of their top issues. We'll have you out in the front room. All right, we'll have Benny over there. Oh, we'll have Benny over there with you, helping to facilitate that conversation. We'll also have some other facilitators over there with you as well. We will be here in this central room talking about workforce development, really trying to hone in on those pieces. And we will be in that back room over there discussing environmental issues, right? So based on what you'd like to discuss, please feel free to choose one. And yeah, after that, we'll have an activity. It's going to be a ranking activity. You might have seen it over there in the corner where we have all of these demands listed out on paper already. And so what we'll be doing over there, we're going to have some stickers for you over here. So after you leave your breakout groups, we'll have folks rank them out, the ones that we already have. And then the ones that we get from this meeting today will obviously be added on, so we can update that demands file for the future. The reality is we need your help to come up with demands. We want to know what your issues are. That is important to us, and it will make a difference, right? So on that note, absolutely, what's your question? Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, right, we are the list of partners that we had on the screen earlier today for you all. I think we can have, well, yeah, it's a coalition of these partners that we have on the screen for you. This is who we are. This is all the groups who are affiliated with us. We can have a one-on-one conversation, but seeing as we have a bunch of people here, I just want to make sure that we're respectful of people's time and hold steady on that agenda time. All right, so Tennessee for all. Yes, we are Tennessee. I work directly for Tennessee for all. We have 2 staff people, me and Rebecca. It's super hard work. All right, so next up, we're gonna go into these breakout groups and we're gonna have these discussions, okay? All right, so housing, we got over there. You all can start moseying. We got workforce development here. That could be education. And then we got our environmental folks over there in the back room to my left, all right? Yeah, you will need a chair if you would like to sit where you go. If you need help moving that chair, please tap one of us on the shoulder and we will move the chair for you. Thank you, sir.
Because we need your input. Without your
You want to go to the front door next to
So please go in one of the rooms, whether you want to.
You want me to steer the conversation? I don't know.
Yeah, ask me this question.
Housing's out here, yeah. Huh? The lunch will be after the breakouts. Yeah. I think just like 20 minutes, maybe. Yeah. Stick around. Lunch will be after the breakout groups. No, I don't think we need them. So do y'all have
we were able to negotiate. But the reality is that community benefits agreements don't happen if the community doesn't push for them. And so the purpose of these meetings is for you, number one, to get united around the things that are most important to you. And then to leave this meeting and go talk to your neighbors about what you have talked about today. And each one of you can organize your bridge club, your neighbors, your church group, wherever your sphere of influence is, because it's going to take all of you. We are just like convening this space to give you the benefit of what has been a positive situation for our communities, to help you to build these committees for your community. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, what's your question? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand that, and I hear you. Those funds are things that in previous meetings, the community has said that they need. And so apparently you're having the same experience. So we having some overlap in terms of experience, right? We're seeing that people are not able to renovate their homes. I had one gentleman talking to me about how they see people putting up like campers and stuff on parts of their property. So everything in this life is negotiable. Isn't that right? And so where they made the rules where you cannot do that, if enough of you all get together and decide that's something you want to do, then you can go to the meeting and they can reverse that. So, but it's going to take internal organizing in the community. It's going to take you trusting your neighbor. It's going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be a lot of long days and late nights, but you all can do it. Nobody's special. You all can do it. So we got a scribe in the room that's kind of taking notes around things. This room is around workforce development and education. So what are some of the things that have come up for you as you see all this happen? I got one, I got two, and I got three.
On this list. One is childcare, good childcare, a place or places where workers can feel comfortable leaving their children. And I know there's going to be a YMCA. I've heard a number like 1,500 kids or whatever, but that's, even if that's true, that's only going to take care of a portion of kids. So the other thing is, I'm a psychologist and I also live 3 miles from the corner of the Ford plant. And I've started meeting people who are working there. I've looked online for about Ford's services to its employees. I see Ford has an employee assistance program, but that's where you refer an employee after the fact. I think Ford needs to have a world-class employee wellness center and health center, because I want these employees happy. They are traveling in and out of my community. I don't want them committing crimes, throwing trash in my yard. I want them to be happy people. Not just referred to EAP when a problem comes up. So those are a couple of things that I think need to be on the list.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm an educator and I'm on the front lines. I'm in elementary education, so I have right now in my classroom, 20 students. Out of my 20 students, I have one who's reading on a first grade level. All the rest of them are pre-K and beyond. Basic syllables like letter A, they're trying to learn how to recognize that. The problem with that is that the majority of them, out of my 20 kids in class, I have 13 parents who work about 18 hours a day. They work at one factory that is 10 hours, and then they get off of that, and then they go to another job that is 8 hours. So my kids' parents are averaging 18 hours a day of work. And that is very hard for them to be able to sit with their kids and work with them on education as well. I was talking to a young man. He said, I'm very concerned. He said, I did not know that high schoolers were graduating from this area who were reading on a second and third grade level. And I said, you betcha. That is where that third grade law is coming from. I have actual parents in my class of first graders who cannot read and comprehend the homework that I have. And they asked me to read it to them. And it's on a first grade level. So that is why it is indicative that we do more to strengthen these education systems here. We have got to invest more in every single teacher. So Ford needs to, I think that, I mean, it's ridiculous because the average teacher's salary is around about 40 grand, but the average worker is going to be making about 55, 60 grand. So what do we say? The people that are educating the next generation are not worth it. And so what happens there is you have this huge divide in this education where people are not taking it as serious. We were told, when I'm from Chicago, so I was told with a lot of us that one of the issues with you all having a third grade reading law that's come about is because of a lot of the legislators being fearful that they wouldn't have enough workers able to pass the TCAT. So we were actually talking to a lot of the high school students here, and reality, they could not read with comprehension on a sentence to tell you what was going on. They could not pay attention to basic mathematics. So that's an issue. So there needs to be more investment in educators' pay, and it needs to be more investment in educators in the summer and more investment in the classrooms. You're going to have to come with better supplies in order to get us in gear to help with this, because it's going to be a community endeavor with us from the school to the community, because we have to educate parents as well. They cannot read their children's homework. Oh, the professional development piece that we were talking about. Each teacher, in order to maintain your license in the state of Tennessee, each teacher has to do somewhere in the neighborhood of about 65 to 80 professional development hours. None of those hours are paid for by our districts, not unless we have like a late school day, sometimes where some of us will be at school from 6 o'clock in the morning until probably about 8 or 9 o'clock at night for a late meeting. And that's where they may go over some additional stuff. But conferences, he was like, they don't pay for you to go to like professional conferences and stuff to NASA or any of that kind of stuff. They don't pay for y'all to get more literacy training, more math training. No way. If we do any of that, it's on our dollar.
Okay, I retired from the Tennessee Department of Labor wage an hour. Okay. Used to, but for about 2012, there was a Wage Regulation Act, and everybody had to be paid union wages. But there was no on-the-job training. And that if I went out and checked these jobs, and I saw somebody doing electrical work, true electrician work, but they were getting paid as a laborer. Misclassification. Okay. Our government, Tennessee, let that just did away with it. So I have no earthly idea why, because people need to be getting paid for what they actually do. But another thing I saw up there. Oh, okay. You were talking about Nashville.
Yes.
Okay. Nashville did it right. Okay. Why don't you get those people that did it right and there's got to be what they did written down somewhere, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
That should be extended to here.
And so everybody that signed in, we will send them a copy of what the benefits agreement looked like for Nashville.
Mhm.
so that you can just see as an example. Everybody.
All you have to do is go by their list.
The needs in this community may be a little different than that.
I don't
But-
know. Nashville's very diverse. You know, it's not now, or it doesn't appear to be. But
not
another
at-
thing up there that y'all had written down was rezoning laws. Okay. People have to be notified down the street. I can't remember how far it was. I used to work for the assessor's office before I retired from there too. And they have to be notified that there's going to be a zoning change. Well, if you don't go, they're going to change the zoning. But all it takes is one person to say no, and it won't be changed because those politicians, wherever they are, they want to be reelected, and they don't want their friends that they know going against them. So
And so would you recommend, just based on what I just heard you say, that we have a session just on zoning and how it works and how you can impact zoning?
so you could do that through your assessor here,
Yes, sir.
or,
We could,
planning commission, whoever it is.
yes, sir.
And, you know, it'd be real easy. If you don't like it, go say something. Go to the meeting. It's all written down there. It has to be. So,
Yes.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Are there other folks that have?
I'm Brenda Woods, Bolivar, Tennessee. Since this is workforce development, I want to know, will there be job fairs? How will the people know what positions are going to be offered and know how to apply for them? Because if you're offering all of these jobs, we need to have a say-so in how you do it, where you do it. It is very important. So that is one of the things I would like to hear from Tennessee all. How do you all plan to make sure that people are notified and know where to apply for these jobs, or will you offer a job fair? Thank you.
So I will say that Tennessee for All we've heard your statement around workforce. We've had similar concerns raised in other meetings. The reality is that this is we're trying to build a plane while we fly it. And so we will, get in contact with as many subject matter experts in that area and try to make sure that the community is aware to how to access these jobs, what the training is that you'll need to get the jobs. And then you can share that with the community, right?
I was looking to come to this meeting. I went on the website for Luna. I pronounce it wrong all the time. Anyway, I ended up calling the Memphis number. I didn't wait to talk to anybody, so I hung up. They sent me a text with the positions that they're hiring for right now, telling you exactly the qualifications, how to apply, and all of that. And it says on here, you can fill out an application online at buildblueoval.com. And right now, they're looking for people to do, let me take my glasses off. I read better without it. They are looking for people to build Blue Oval project, and you must have 2 years of construction experience, concrete laborers, Cassian, whatever that is, and laborers and pipe layer. I can't see too well. Yes. And you must pass a drug test, must be reliable and professional. And you have 5 years project, Staten, Tennessee, competitive wages, medical, dental, vision, and pension. Live better, work union. So there are places out there right now that's advertising for workers, because I know I sub at the alternative school, and we had a school resource officer, I guess, who was living down this way. And one time they had a sign up saying they needed welders. So it's out.
And so you raise a good point. So we need to thank the laborers union. They call them LIUNA. This is their space. That is their website that she just described. But if you go to Build Blue Oval, I think that it will tell you like what the opportunities are and the timing of them coming up. We got about 10 minutes, I was just told. Yes, ma'am.
I am currently working out there and I work for one of the largest electrical contractors there. So one thing I would like to see, and this is what I'm seeing most frequently with a lot of mine, is budgeting. They need to have budgeting classes to help these people learn how to manage their money. Because I'm having so many of them that if they miss 4 hours of work, they are losing money on their paycheck, then they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their other bills that they've got coming in. I'd like to see a budgeting class, maybe somewhere here in town or in Stanton somewhere, that is held once a month for these people. The education is a big deal. I work with the pre-apprentices. So we work with the young adults that are trying to get into the apprenticeship program. And we have so many of them that cannot pass the aptitude test, that we as a company are bringing in professionals to give them a 2-week class just to prepare them to pass an aptitude test. And if you talk to the JATC that does the apprenticeship for the electrical union, they say it is 8th grade and 9th grade math and reading, but in reality, it is really 10th and 11th grade, and it's a lot of algebra and geometry. But if you don't use it on a daily basis and you don't read on a daily basis, you're going to fail those tests. So that is where we as a company are coming in to help these individuals and get them into a trade to where even when the factory is done and we are out of there, they still have a future to hold on to. And so that is the thing. The education and the budgeting are two of the main things. Childcare is very important. I wish Ford would have a childcare facility in their station for their employees, to where the employees can go by and eat lunch with their kids and stuff like that and not have to worry about where are they going to take them. So those are all very important parts.
Yes.
Right. That sounds good to me.
I'm doing it real quick. When you're talking about the lack of education, maybe you forgot about the No Child Left Behind thing. That is what happened. The reason why we have students who cannot do math or anything else. I sub in the school system, and I had 9th graders telling me, Miss Love, I can't read and I can't write, but they were passing them anyway because of the fact no child left behind. Well, the thing was they were going to railroad them into the prison system. Okay, you got to understand what the ploy was. They were going to railroad these children into the prison systems because they would make more money. Because we used to say when I was growing up, crime don't pay. Honey, crime is paying big dividends now. If you get rid of crime, you don't have any judges, you don't have any cops, you don't have any prisons. You got privatized prisons that's making money. They're not unionized, and they're not, the people who are there are not fit to be over these inmates, nor are they teaching these inmates to do anything while they're laying up in the prison systems. So what we need to do is, there are going to be people coming out of the prisons. We need to grab them and get a hold of them and educate them and get them into the workforce. But we have to be the ones to do that. We have to be the ones to initiate that. It's not going to happen by sitting up here saying, oh, I wish somebody would do something. We are the somebodies who must do something. And we got to start now.
But I just want to respond to that No Child Left Behind piece. That's vital and pivotal too. But we have to realize that even with the No Child Left Behind, it's still a parental involvement problem. That is a huge piece of the puzzle. Because if I have rules, because I want to tell you the pipeline of prison is very real, because in 2nd grade, And that's the reason why we got this third grade law. In second grade, if your baby does not know how to follow basic instructions, they do not know how to stand in line, do not know how to raise their hand, do not know how to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. We as educators are seen by sheriffs in second and third grade. They come by our class and they say, Miss such and such, who is being disrespectful to you today? Because I am planning a bed for them in about 5-10 years. I will have a bed for them. That is how they plan their prisons. Because if they are acting up now because they cannot read, they're going to continue that slippery slope. Second grade, you can't read in second grade. So guess what? The average prisoner is on a second grade level that's locked up right now. The average high schooler, and that's why they said they're in trouble, because the average high schooler is graduating from high school on a third grade reading level. And we're having to educate parents. So that's why they're very scared about Blue Oval and the education piece. Because if you cannot do basic math, like what is 20 minus 17, you have adults who are going 26 to us. That's how they're going, because they've been used to trying to plug it in a calculator or do that, but they don't have those basic skills. So it has to be a conversation that has to be had between educators and Blue Oval, because you're going to end up having to invest more in educators. So that way they can probably help do some of these PDs that we're talking about, maybe have us being tutors that are getting paid to be able to help high schoolers get into the programs, help them be able to get caught up in their literacy and in their math. That will be a way right there where you can change the narrative.
So I have just two short things to say. We're wrapping up. Union apprenticeship, union trades programs educate the military educates the most folks in the system. And union trade apprenticeships are the second highest educator. You are right. As a part of the union program, there is a financial empowerment piece. There is apprenticeship readiness programs that we are working to develop in West Tennessee. We already have those in Middle Tennessee and in other parts of the state. But as we are trying to wrap up, did I miss anyone that had final thoughts that they wanted to share?
Single mother or
Yes.
single father trying to raise a young black man or whatever, and that kid go to school, but the mama got to go out and work 16 hours a day because her rent done went up $300 or $400. So she had to either give up one, she got to either stay home and take care of that kid and make sure that kid get an education, stay out of trouble, make sure that kid doesn't get involved in a gang member, ain't getting all tattooed up by the time they is 10 years old. They got tattoos everywhere because they belongs to a gang or something. Then what the mother gonna do? She gonna either be taken by the probation department because the kid been neglected. Then the kid go into a system. That system ain't worth a D, okay? That system is just for a few people to make that money. I'm a retired correctional officer, and I seize them. I have to go with a weapon on my hip to go and arrest someone to bring them into court. And I'm sick and tired of a single parent women, mothers had to try to raise these young black men. We are losing them, just like pouring water out of a bucket. And the parole system here is the only thing making money here. The police department is the only people making money because you got to pay the judge, you got to pay your bail, you get caught driving a car with no license. And the single mother down there at her job working day and night trying to make it. But what are we gonna do about our young men? We got to catch them between the age of 6 and 10 years old. If you don't catch them, the drug dealer gonna catch you.
But the other piece is this, sir. Wait before you leave. The other piece is this. These jobs are a way, they don't discriminate whether you have a record or not. And so we need to be going and making sure that when folks are released, that they have a path to these jobs. And that's why that's one of the reasons among a million why we're here. The child care piece, you know, you work not, I worked at Bridgestone Firestone for 30 years, worked from 6 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. in the morning. It's impossible to manage a family and work those hours. So we are going to have childcare that, you know, works with folks that has non-traditional hours and that can accommodate folks that work on these shifts. So those are two things that I think that we want to address, and we appreciate you. And we got one last person.
Yes, I'm an honorable discharge Vietnam Era veteran, and I, I've,
Clear the dot.
I've got a question about senior citizens, and I've had a stroke recently, and I have an issue about the handicap. So if could anyone touch base on honorable discharge veterans that were drafted or senior citizens? Because I'm still able enough to work. And I would like to use my GI loan, own property out in Haywood County. And I'd like to use I'm eligible for the GI loan. And I am handicapped, but the veterans, the VA finally got me a mobilized wheelchair that I can hook behind my car so I will be able to get around and seek employment.
Yes, sir. So we've added that to the list. It sounds like you may want to talk to the folks in housing. So as you all are leaving, I'm getting ready to turn it over to Will. Will, you want to tell folks?
Absolutely. So we have a ranking activity over there off to the side. You see a couple folks are already putting it up. We have a key where orange is your most important issue, green is your next, yellow is somewhat important, red is your least important. Unfortunately, as short-sighted as we were on the chairs, we were also short-sighted on the number of stickers. So just please make sure that, you know, we have some strips over there for folks. Yep, right there at the table Gabby's at. You see her raising her hands. So if you all can just make sure to rank yours, you know, that really helps us in determining. So we have the key at the top over there. It's orange, most important. Green is next. Yellow, somewhat important. Red, least important. And then so that way, you know, the stuff you came up with today, obviously we'll have in the future. We'll ideally have this activity for you all again. Oh, sorry about that. And so, yeah, if you wouldn't mind just moseying over there. We have strips already, and I'm making you more.
Okay.
Samsung one, that's the one I'm getting, and not the micro.
Well,
All right, just a reminder, while we're getting the food set up and you're trickling in, we've got the list of issues and demands over here on the back wall. And we'd like you to put stickers on them. We've got people helping with instructions, but if you see anything there that if it's missing anything, we need to know.
yeah, they got, let me find out what they are. They're gonna be over here somewhere. Find out what the stickers are.
Welcome back in.
Testing.
We are working to get our website updated with everybody, but
Yeah. Huh?
I'm with Tennessee. for All.
This money that they give the county or the state and all that stuff.
Yep, that's it. And we're gonna put all the organizations on the site because we had everybody sign an agreement to join the coalition. But it's,
Yeah, I think that's probably what,
UFW,
one of the
CIU,
demands that you guys are making, because they set aside some money for housing.
some progressive organizations like Memphis Interfaith Network for Action and Hope. So like faith groups, churches, labor unions.
Get something done. Yeah, but it's gotta come from a demand from the people, and we make sure we're.
Oh, yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Let me remind everyone to please express your priorities of your demands with the stickers.
Oh, yeah, I was 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we.
Those things people are doing that. Start talking to people.
Okay.
Right.
Who was it?
Almost get run over by the
Oh, wow.
I don't know stuff. Yeah, I know the state. But anyway, when I get back with you, she gonna contact me. Okay, I get what you.
I told you that so I think there's something. When you get a few minutes. Okay. Okay. Stop looking like Jabbar.
And maybe we just give them a card also.
Already in communication with us. The issue that we run up.
I got a card out here somewhere.
Local leadership, making sure that they implement this and meet with the community.
Somebody was looking for you. Bill was looking for you.
No problem. Y'all wanna do that?
You wanna do it? You want me to do it, Michael?
Can you do it? I'm talked out.
I got you. Hello, 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 hello. How are we? We doing okay? Yeah, get some claps going. Woo. I know we still got some folks who are over there working hard, ranking out their things. If you have not ranked out your issues, please, please, please take the time to do so. Thank you so much. Although I hear them. I hear them. We need them. We need them. All right. And then we also over there in that same corner, we have a spot where you can physically write your name down, right? Make the commitment that you're going to be a part of our committee meeting. We have the committee meeting. Oh, hey, can we hear me? Can we hear me, please? Yep. Hello. Yeah. Come on. Yep. Let's come back here. Yeah, there we go. We'll try and wrap you up, I promise. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Fred. That's why you keep a Fred. All right. So as I was touching on, I see we still have some folks over there completing the ranking activity. This is very important, very imperative. So if you have not, please take the moment to. Also over there, we have right there, you see the first person writing their name down, register in there to join that committee, right? You put your name, put your email, whatever we need to contact you to get you into that space. That's what we'll do. The meeting is going to be November 2nd, virtually via Zoom. So there's not going to be no chair problems. And so we'd love to have you there with us. So make sure to write your name down. If you don't write your name down, but you gave us your number or email earlier, we are going to call you about it. We are going to text you about it, and we are going to email you about it, because it's not going to be any less important tomorrow than it is today. All right. Beyond that, we have our next town hall. We have a date for it. Oh, can we hear me? Wonderful. So we have our next town hall, and that's going to be December 2nd. We don't have a location for it yet, but we will make sure to bring that to you. All right, you see. And then last but not least, please check your registration status, as that is always, always important. And now I'm going to pass it over to the amazing Fred to close us out with a prayer so we can break bread together. Once again, thank you for taking the first step. But if this is the last step, we have failed. So please, please, please continue on, because that's what we need. That's what this community deserves. All right, so
Are excited about what's going on here today. How many people are ready to organize in your community? Because I think too many people still sitting down and not signing up on the list. That's what we need, signing up on the list so we can continue to move this forward. And we're already starting from the rear. So we need you, once I finish praying, before you get a sandwich, I want you to sign the list. No, yeah, even if you sign that too. Sign the list, because we got to move this forward. Because if not, when we look 10 years down the road, I ain't even gonna go 20. When we look 10 years down the road, your water gonna be stinking, you can't drink, you ain't got a place to live, kids are gonna get worse. So we got to move forward, and we got to move forward now. We can't sit down and wait for somebody else to do something, because they're already moving ahead of us now. So are we all together on that? Let us pray. We got several over there, bro. We got several. We got a name spot just for your name. Father God, we come to you right now. Thank you for this gathering, Father God, because we know when you are in the midst of what we're doing, Father God, we know we're doing the right thing, because you told us to help the least in thee. And if we continue to do that, continue to move in your way, Father God, we know this is going to move, and it's going to see things that we've never seen before, because our little pea brains are smaller than yours. Your thoughts and your ways is always better than us. So as we continue to move forward, give the organizers the strength to continue to move forward. Give those in the community the strength to say, I will move forward. I will organize my community. I will help be the change that I want to see. Father God, I ask that you bless the food that we have gotten today, and that it be a nourishment for each and every person. Father God, and continue to strengthen our bodies, move us in your way, that we will move to make things happen in Tennessee. These and all things we ask in our Father God's name, Jesus. Amen. Don't forget to sign up. Don't forget to sign up. I don't want to see nobody going to the right. I want to see you moving to the left. Moving to the left.
Just form a line too. If you're, please stay and get some food. We've got plates, and we've also got tinfoil if you want to take it to go. But the line is going to move clockwise. Clockwise.